You need a thingy in front of that.
You an exclamation point there,
That's the thing.
Adam.
Alright, is it exclamation mark first?
Exclamation mark.
No, it's R exclamation part, isn't it? Or is it exclamation mark R?
Exclamation R.
Oh
yeah, there you go. Ooh.
3 there, Trevor. That's strong.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Not immunity though, is it really? So.
True. You never know.
But it's pretty good.
And then can I do plus something to that?
You can plus that, but you don't want to for this roll.
I think the caps are throwing it off there.
Yeah, just lowercase letters.
Man, what? So, exclamation mark.
Lowercase R.
Lowercase r.
D20.
1d20 plus.
Oh, I got a crit. But I wasn't going to stack it.
Why did you add 3 to it?
I thought I was doing initiative, sorry.
No, that's not what this is.
I know. I've had a couple of glasses of wine. I'm getting into character.
Fair enough. All right, good. Well, hey, I tell you what, there, Adam. I'll make you a deal. The drunker you turn up to game night, the more advantages I'm going to get.
Yes.
Whoa, because trust me, I can get pretty drunk pretty easily.
Yeah, but your character isn't a notorious drunk, is he?
In real life, yes.
Your character in real life.
I don't doubt that. Right, so Thalar, you want to go ahead and roll a proper one?
But I wasn't here. I wouldn't know.
I don't care, Thalar. These rules are immutable.
Hey, I need to watch. I don't do the videos for no reason. Come on.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't have a chance. 10.
Oh, right. Sonny and Thalar are gonna have to roll again. See who's gonna break that tie.
Oops, sorry. I might have got a really loud keyboard.
Yeah, you do. 11. Oh boy, and see to your pants there, Josh. All right, Adam. Walk us through it.
Oh, did I lose? Okay.
No, you won. You get to tell us.
Oh,
about last
yes,
time.
of course. Yeah, I love doing that. So, well, I'll tell you what stands out in my mind. That Sonny, like a hero, took his clothes off and danced around like he was being chased by bees to cause a distraction, which then completely failed. And then Judd's character Gionan had to rescue the princess by running up onto the castle walls and escaping over the side of the wall. So that has jogged my memory. So why were we doing all that? We had met a mysterious person who came to the pub that we were staying at and said, come with us, we want you to meet this religious dude who has been speaking to his god, who has who knows what you're up to. He knows that you're going to pretend to kill the princess, but we have a better way of doing that. Our religious sect is able to pretend to kill this princess, which will convince the other god that has caused all this and demanded that this princess be killed to return the wind to this land. So bring the princess to us, we can arrange all this, and our group thought that was a fantastic deal. It was the answer to our problems. We all felt a bit uneasy about the whole plan in the first place, so we went to visit this religious guy. We were convinced by him, so we snuck into the castle, tried to sneak the princess out. It all went wrong. Sonny tried to cause a distraction that went wrong. Jonan saved the day, and that's what he does. That's why we are his fabulous adventuring band
Group. The G is really important.
I tried. And I believe that's where we got up to there. Bradley was the star as usual. Sonny drank a lot. Trevor did some womanizing. Josh did some Thalar did some meditating and some mystic arts.
Cool.
And Gionan just, held it all together.
Gionan. That could be a verb.
Okay. Anybody have anything else they want to add?
No.
Yes, Sonny does, and our fabulous airship was delivered, and it got fueled up with nitrous oxide, and we're ready to rock.
I specifically remember that bit.
Yeah, that's
Nitrous oxide.
We are now on our way, or we're setting off to explore the city of the dead for the priests.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That's where we left off. Just about to set off to that, I think.
Weren't we getting tooled up?
Yeah. I think we were like just getting ready to leave / pre-shopping if anybody needed to buy anything.
Yes.
Does anybody actually remember where you ended?
We just left the city, I believe.
No, not even close.
No, then.
Let me.
I will direct you, perhaps, to the resources chat, which may help to jog your memory.
Oh yeah, you went to the bar, didn't you? 2 of you went to the bar to find information. The blind eye.
Oh, well, yes. So.
I think me and Thalar were shopping and pre-equipping if anybody needed anything, but Valoran and Sonny went to the bar.
Yes, yeah, and we struggled to get in, but 2 bird type people,
Kenku,
took pity on Sonny's plead for his interest in investigating all things to do with alcohol and their origin. Let us in. And I think that's where we left off. I think Sonny spoke to the barman or barwoman, and they described who was present at the different tables. Yes, and that's where the blind eye. That's where we left off.
Yes. So well forgotten.
I can't remember. Why did we go there? What was the clue that sent us in that direction?
But the one of the only guys who had returned from this city once.
Yes.
Was there.
Yes. What was the name of the city? The undead. I
think that might even be in the game page.
I did make some notes. Where are my notes?
Maybe not. Maybe it was in general.
Wasn't it?
There's a note somewhere that says Catacombs of Ptolemy.
Yeah, I think it was Ptolemy.
100 miles of tunnels. These are my notes already. 100 miles of tunnels. Let's see how much these make sense. The Blind Eye Tavern, Smoky. Kenku times 2. Pillars, elegant fabric. Mystical glyphs. Something Goliath. Dormant.
Says the notes that I take.
These, yeah. 9 tables. 3 bodies. What? Half orc. Human man, firewoman, times 4 lizard felt, armpit my wizard. What?
Okay, so maybe what I'm going to do is this, because it's been 2 weeks. I'm going to throw you a bone.
Throw me a freaking bone here.
I'm going to introduce you into the blind eye.
Yes.
And paint the picture again, so that there's no armpit. What the fuck? Okay, so you enter in. So here we go. Unless anybody else has anything else they want to say.
No, I think it's best. If
okay, good. Let's start doing this thing then.
Airship.
So okay, noted. So you entering into this subterranean, because it's below street level, it's basement level. So entering into the lower ground level, it's a room. It's 50 feet by 45 feet. Dimly lit by widely spaced glowing lanterns, and there's 6 large pillars holding up the roof. And the pillars are draped on each side, except for the side holding the lantern. So on 3 sides, they've got long strips of fabric, elegantly decorated. They're each marked with strange magical glyphs, and they've got a very fine trim and a tassel at the bottom. The walls are otherwise bare, only these pillars are decorated. There's a small chair and a table right next to the door with a single mug of ale on it, where the 8-foot Goliath, as you mentioned, sits on a normal-sized chair, which is very comically small under his bulk. He's older, and he's wearing a shirt and trousers with a waistcoat that's open. He's chomping on a lit cigar and waiting for the next patron to knock. He's the bouncer, you can tell. And then on the opposite side of the door, so he's on the left. On the opposite side, on the right-hand side, on the wall, immediately next to the door, is a small wheel with 11 distinct sections, each with the name of a capital city on it, and one is filled in black. And then in front of the Goliath, just on his left, so in front of you as you step in, but on his left, and you can see on the map, there's a small stack of crates. And at the other end of the room is a 20-foot-long bar with a big man standing behind it. He's got a white tunic and a dirty apron on. He's probably 6'6". He's got short cropped hair and a mean expression. As you walk in, he narrows his eyes and he looks at you, and he jerks his thumb at the sign above the bar, and it simply is wooden carving, and it simply says, "Don't start nothing, won't be nothing." And just underneath that is a huge battle axe with dried blood on it. And then there's 9 wooden tables and 3 booths, sort of staffed or occupied by the people that I've mentioned. And in the corner, a middle-aged man with a peg leg is playing a song on the piano. And let me see. This is going to be a big test, everybody, if I can get the sound to work. Does anybody have any questions while I try and make this work?
I'm not there, right?
I don't think you went with them, no.
Yeah, it was
Cool.
just me and Valarin.
Cool.
Well, why don't I'm going to try and get the music to work, but you start doing Dungeons and Dragons in the interim, because I don't know how long it'll take, or even if it will.
Start doing Dungeons and Dragons.
Do the dungeons and maybe some dragons.
For once, do some Dungeons and Dragons for once.
Please.
Please,
yes.
God, just play Dungeons and Dragons like a normal human being for once in your life.
So I am very interested, not like I was in the Cook, in the Darman. I think it's always good to talk to the staff. I think Sonny would go up to the Darman and say, "Look, I know you didn't. I've got in here thanks to these 2 bird people. I want to buy you a drink. I know it's I caused you a bit of trouble at the door. What can I get you?"
He looks at you and he grins a huge toothy grin, and that is not what that. He grins a huge toothy grin, and he says, "Well, stranger, that's very kind of you. I'm drinking the Lord's Lager."
The Lord's Lager sounds a damn fine good drink, my friend. And what is your name?
He extends a meaty paw, and his hand is probably 8 feet tall. It's probably the size of your head. Where are my notes about him? He is called... He says, "My name is Grief Bringer."
Grief Bringer.
And you are, my friend, and you are?
I am Sunny Bringer. I bring the sun into people's lives. I enjoy drink. I enjoy meeting people, and it is a pleasure to meet you, Grief Bringer.
Taylor may take exception to your new moniker.
I'm gonna I'm gonna go buy you that drink, and I'll be right back. So Sunny heads over.
Oh my god! This is the song I was thinking of.
I'm glad we had the same thought.
Yeah,
So you go up to the bar then?
Yes. 2 pints of the Lord's Lager, please.
You're not there. He
Sorry.
he puts down his polished cup and he says, and he just nods. He doesn't say anything, and he pulls 2 pints of ale, which you assume to be the Lord's Lager, and he puts them down on the counter, and he grunts, 2 silver pieces.
Excellent. And what do we have in the means of snacks?
And he wipes his hands on his dirty apron, and he says, today we've got rack of lamb, potato, boiled cabbage.
Does that all come together, or do I need to choose?
You can have it all at once, you can have it all as pieces. What do you want? That's what we've cooked today. You can have a bowl of cabbage if that's all you want.
I'll have a rack of lamb. please.
Okay. And he says, "That's 1 gold, please."
And Sonny hands that over.
Good. He disappears down there's like a section in the floor, just where, you know, one of those, I don't know what you call them, those holes that you see on street level that you lower bar materials down, like in a storeroom, and he walks down some stairs and disappears for a second, presumably to go and get you your food. You smell lovely smells coming up from down there, and you hear sort of clanging.
So I just shout down the hole, I'll be sat with Griefbringer.
No response meets you from down the hall, but you get the impression that the pub is, or the ale, or the inn is small enough that he could probably figure that out.
And then I look across the room at Valorian and, oh god, crap, sorry, I forgot to buy you a drink. What do you want?
Oh, the Lord's Log. I'll take another one of the Lord's Lager.
Okay, so I shout back down the hole, and another pint of Lord's Lager for my mate, Valorian.
Again, no response greets you.
I think it's coming, Valorian. So did he pour the 2 original ones?
He's given you 2 pints,
right?
In flagons. So you've got 2 of them.
Okay, I'll return over to Griefbringer. There you go, Griefbringer. I've got some rack of lamb coming over as well, if you care to share it with me.
Damn fine. And he puts the ale down, because he's kind of nursing one. He's about 3/4 of the way through one, so he's putting that one down. He picks up his other one, he drains it, and then he goes for yours. He goes
for my drink.
No, he goes for the one you've given him, because he already he wasn't quite done with his last one. So he's now reaching for the one that you got for him.
Sonny was about to bitch slap him then.
Yeah, that would have. I know you would have, and that would have ended very badly for you. But luckily, nothing happened. So he's sort of sculls his lager, and then he is sort of sitting back and he's chomping his cigar, looking contented.
So, Mr. Bringer, I have travelled this land near and far and visited many establishments like this, and one thing I've learned is the doorman is the hardest working person in any of these establishments.
And he laughs and he goes, I can guarantee you've never been in a place like this one, but what do you want? You're buttering me up. Well, you're gonna ask for something. Give me the ale, give me the lamb, talking all fancy. What are you're angling?
I like the cut of your jib, Mr. Bringer.
It's just Griefbringer. Goliath named. You only get one. So it's just like fantasy share.
Mr. Griefbringer. I like the cut of your
it's just Griefbringer, really.
Griefbringer.
Yes.
You've seen straight through me. I don't have a clue what I'm doing here. This, I understand there is a man that can be found here who will be able to guide me and my friends round an undead temple called Tolering City. That once
kind of strokes his chin, and he goes, "I've never. No. Well, I tell you what." And he's just about to open his mouth when you hear a at the door, and he says, "Oh, duty calls. Stand by." And he sort of pushes you aside, and he stands up, and he cracks his shoulders, and then he walks over to the door, and he puts his hand on the handle. And he uses his other hand to spin the dial until the name hits, it says Axis. And he opens the door, or he opens the slider. And you hear him have sort of a low conversation with a couple people. He asks that question that he asked you. And clearly whoever does it either shows the coin or gives the right answer, because then he draws back and the door opens. And you see a dark elf man walk in. And outside it's just pouring down with rain. It's absolutely chucking it down. He shuts the door and the ground's a little wet. And then he sits back down. He says, sorry about that. Sorry. What are we talking about?
I asked you, Griefbringer, about the city of Talaring. You know, the Balmor King.
No, what? No. I don't know that. I tell you what, I'm not the smartest history kind of guy. I didn't do a lot of book learning, but I bet there's some people in here who could probably help you out. Let's see. And he sort of starts looking around at the patrons and the regulars, and he's trying to see. No, definitely not. I tell you what. Why don't you go and ask her? And he points to on table. What did I say it was on? On table 6. There's a human woman in fine robes studying a delicate silver object, and he says, "She looks like she might know a thing or two. She's got the fancy sort of thing in her hand." As you say that, the bartender comes back up, and he's got this big, huge, steaming rack of lamb in his hands, and he comes out, and he sees you over with Griefbringer, and he drops it on the table and grunts and goes to walk back, and he pulls a pint of Lord's Lager, and he puts it on the table next to you, and then he goes back to doing what he was doing.
Has he given Valoran his?
But he gave it to you because he didn't know.
All right, so I understand. Yeah, I would like to use a Kai point to do a karate chop on the ribs and split them in half.
Okay, I want you to roll a performance check.
Okay. Performance, I get +4. Nice.
Sure.
Are you not proficient in performance?
I don't know. My app says +4, and that is what I'm going to do. Exclamation mark, roll 1d20 +4. Bomb. Oh dear.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that can't be good.
What?
And the side of your hand just goes and it just sort of squelches the meat, which sort of leaks a bit of juice onto the plate, and you've just sort of manhandled it a bit, and Griefbringer looks at the meat and he looks at you, and he just chomps on his cigar, and he's kind of giving you this disappointed face.
I say, enjoy, my friend, and walk away with Valoran's beer.
And he sort of moves the cigar to the other side of his mouth and goes, "All the damn fool things." And he kind of starts picking around where you'd karate chop. He's trying to eat everything that isn't what you touched, but he starts munching at it, and you've left him behind now. So are you back at the bar with Valoran?
Yeah.
Okay. He's dropped off the chat, so you crack on while we wait for him to reconnect.
Okay, so I mentioned to Valoran that Mr. Griefbringer recommends we go speak to that lady over there, and and Valoran says, "Yeah, Sonny, you're so awesome. I would do anything you asked me to." So of course.
Oh yeah, that's completely in keeping with his spirit. So you you go over to do you go over to the lady?
Yes, the human woman in fine robes studying a delicate silver. Hello, woman studying a delicate silver object. What is that?
She blinks at you and she says, "Do you normally address people like that?"
Only when I'm drunk.
Oh, guys. What? Who are you?
My name is Sonny, and I am a member of the fabulous adventuring group.
That's very nice.
Have you heard of us?
No.
Oh.
But I'm Marta, and what brings you to the Blind Eye?
I'm going to be honest with you, Marta. I am on a mission to explore the Talaring city.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, sorry, I expected you would. My mistake.
No.
I am looking for someone who is familiar with the Talaring city that has been beset by a necromancer. I understand there's hundreds of miles of catacombs, and we are looking for someone who may guide us. And that is the
She
reason.
says, oh, what did you call it?
The Talaring city.
No, do you mean Ptolemy?
I beg your pardon?
Did you mean the city of Ptolemy here in Inisti that fell 600 years ago, and there's catacombs and liches? Is that what you're talking about?
I look at Valaring, and Valaring nods at me and goes, yes, that's what I meant. Yes.
Oh yes, I know. I mean, I don't know. I've never been there, but I know of its history, I suppose. You know, as much as anybody else. That's very good. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, my lady. And do you know anyone who may drink here regular? I've been told that someone here may act as a guide for me.
And she says, "Well, I must confess, I'm not a regular here. I'm not a member. I just passed through. I wanted a place to sort of study this." She points to her silver object, and she says, "I recently won it in a game of chance, and I'm trying to figure out if it's got a curse on it before I touch it. I'm with magic. I'm a sorcerer, you see. So I'm just trying to figure that out. But so far, no. So far, it's eluded me. I'm not quite sure what it's all about. Anyway, so I'm afraid I just don't know enough about the clientele."
Perhaps my friend Valari could help you identify the nature of this silver object.
Valoran the fighter.
Yes.
And she says, "Yes, of course. What did you have in mind? Is he a particularly gifted wizard?"
Many women have told me that he's particularly gifted. I'm not exactly sure what in, but I will introduce you to him.
Who's gonna be Valoran? Me? Okay. And I'm gonna have to RP with myself. Great. So, and she says, I tell you what. Why don't you? No, thank you. I'm gonna go back to my silver object. I don't think I need to have a conversation with him.
Okay.
Sorry. I just don't think that would end well.
So,
begin well.
I'm not going to try and do a southern accent.
Yep. Sunny has grown used to
Offensive.
Sunny has grown used to many awkward social situations in drinking establishments like this, and he stumbles away to table number 3.
Okay, so to the half-orc male and a drow elf male sitting in silence, drinking quietly. Okay, so you stumble over there, and they kind of give you the eye, or not that kind of eye, but they give you sort of the "who the hell are you and why are you at our table" kind of eye.
And he says, Sunny says, she's a bit of a cold one over there. I just tried some of my best moves and she wasn't interested. What do you reckon?
And the half orc leans in and he goes, "Are you trying them on us now?"
No, I'm just asking for what's the deal with her. She's a bit cold-hearted.
And he sort of sits back and sniffs and he says, I don't know. I've never seen her here before." And he looks at his friend, the dark elf, who sort of shrugs and goes back to his drink. And he leans in. He says, "And I've never seen you here before. You know, this isn't that kind of place, right?"
What, to meet people and chat?
Yeah, that's not quite how it works here.
Oh, how does it work?
Well,
What do you do?
I don't. This is an establishment for people who aren't necessarily wanting to be seen in other establishments, if you get the drift.
Okay, so you just come and drink and ignore each other?
It's just, there's a professional courtesy. that you observe when you hear. You don't ask, and you don't tell. If you catch my drift.
Sonny shakes his head and says, I don't understand. Everywhere I've been to drink, people like to talk to each other, so this is a bit strange for me.
And he says, I don't really know how to make it any more simple for you. And he leans in and he says, most of the people here aren't really gonna be seen around town where certain authorities might be looking for them. You understand? We come here instead. And because we all have our own business to attend to, everybody kind of keeps their own selves to themselves. Are you kind of picking up what I'm putting down for you?
Sonny pulls out a seat and sits next to them and said, okay, charade over. I'm here for some information. I'm looking for a guy, and I was told he would be here. I'm not here to make friends. I'm looking for a guide to the city of
I literally wrote it down for you.
oh, thank you. Where is it?
It's in
gameplay chat.
Gameplay chat.
The P is silent, correct?
It is.
So yeah. But like that is pronounced it. Or Ptolemy.
Yeah, I'm looking for a guide to Ptolemy.
Ptolemy.
Stop laughing!
Ptolemy.
Stop laughing at my role-playing skills here. I'm
Right, this is roleplay. That's why we're getting so confused.
I'm playing as Sonny. Ptolemy.
And the dark elf looks up and he says, "What business have you in Ptolemy?"
We're gonna take down the necromancer.
And he laughs and he goes, "There is no necromancer."
It's not what I've heard.
Well, not anymore anyway. 600 years and his body is gone. What are you going to fight? The shadows?
I fight what I've been paid to fight, and I've been paid to go there, and there I will go. And I need a guide, and I'm looking for a guide.
Someone paid you to go and kill the lich.
Yes.
And Valoran leans over and he says, "No, they didn't."
No.
Didn't they? Oh.
No, we were going to collect something.
And Valoran helpfully says, we were that's gonna be super offensive. We were sorry, John, if you're listening to this, Trevor. We were asked to go and collect a sacred artifact for the abbot at the place.
Yes. And kill any likes on the way
and come back. Yeah.
Oh, there's no liches.
And hearing that, the dark elf says, "Oh, well, that's fine then. There is much treasure in the catacombs. Many go and many return."
Ah, it sounds like you're familiar.
And he says, "Yes, I've been several times."
And what is your name, sir? Count. And what is your name, sir?
And he says, "I am Samri."
Samri, I'm going to get straight to business here. You sound like you could be of help to us.
And he says, "Well, if it's a job you are interested in, then many will talk to you.
Is that?
But I am the best."
And why are you the best?
And he says, "Because I have been and I have returned."
That sounds pretty convincing to me. And how much do you cost to guide us to there and safely back out again if you are so successful at leaving there safely?
And he says, "Well, the dangers are many, despite the rewards. How do I know that you are up to the task?"
Have you heard of the Fabulous Adventuring Group?
No.
Then you soon will, sir. We are an up and coming group of adventurers, fabulous, some say, and our name will be known across the land, and your name may also be known across the land and celebrated with ours. If you happen to join us.
And he says, the fewer people who know my name, the better. But I hear what you are saying. How many are you?
There are 4 of us.
Is that all?
I am Sunny.
Plus 2 paladins, or plus a paladin and a cleric.
There is Thaler. There is the fabulous John. Valorin, my friend here. And we have assured the company of 2 paladins.
When as he mentions my name, my ears just like burn a little bit, and I give a little smug smile to myself. Somewhere in the city.
A quiet spell that you cast years ago that, you know, you always know when someone's talking about you.
Well,
we'll get back to you guys in just a second. And he says, okay, so for 6 rookies, I will do 50-50. Me and my colleague get half of the treasure you find.
6 rookies. Can I get a conversion there?
He said, no, rookie. You are new.
Oh, I get you. Sorry, I thought that was a
we will split whatever treasure, 50-50.
I thought that was a currency.
No.
Yes. I think that's acceptable. On our safe return to this city. All 4 of us. I don't care about the paladins, but don't tell them that. Yeah, sounds like a deal.
Good. And he says, on one condition. Now you must recognize that you are new to the catacomb. You know nothing of its dangers or its madness. If you run out of torches, you will die. If you run out of water, you will die. If you get hurt, you will die. Down there are easy dangers, bats, rats, skeletons. These you can fight, these you can kill. Drowning, claustrophobia, not so easy to kill. One wrong turn and you could get lost for weeks. Tunnels full of water, tunnels that have collapsed, rooms full of skeletons, mummies, ghosts around every corner, dark magic like you've never seen. Illusions and fear seeped into the very walls. I will take you, but you must put trust in me. If I say run, you run. If I say fight, you fight. And if I say to walk through a wall, you run right at it. Are we agreed?
Yes. I just have one small condition. We have been sent to find a particular treasure. This we cannot split with you. Everything else we will 50-50 guaranteed. Fine.
No, I have no interest in sacred artifacts from bizarre religions. I like gold. I like jewels.
Before I leave and collect my colleagues, where shall we meet? And also, where do you recommend we buy the particular tools that we will require for this mission?
He says, well, tell me what your inn is. I will meet you at your inn with my partner tomorrow morning.
Yes, have you heard of Bradley?
No. Who's Bradley?
Well, you are in for a treat. Go to... where's my notes? Sorry.
Wink in the alehouse?
The what, sorry?
The Wink in the alehouse? God, I can't even say it now. The Wink in the alehouse? Is that where we're meeting?
Yep. Meet me at the Wink and the Ale House. Ask for Bradley, and he will find me. Tell Bradley to find the drunk monk.
And he says, very good. Now, I will meet you there tomorrow morning, and me and my partner will bring everything that we need. But it is pitch black down there, so if you cannot see in the dark, bring torches. And you'll also need rope, food, water, packs, and horses. These things you can acquire in the market.
Thank you, my friend. See you later.
And he gives a nod and goes back to his drink. And the half-orc sort of looks a bit put out to have not been given some money and a job, but he's okay. It wasn't his job. He's just, you know, a bit. He wants to do something too. Anyway, so he goes back to his drink as well, and you're back in the room. Right, let's quickly cut over to Thalar and Jordan because we haven't gotten to them in a little while. So Thalar and Jordan, what are you up to?
I was shopping. I think you went shopping. I was spending the night in meditation. Packed. Or were we getting ready to leave?
Okay. Well,
because we didn't know what you were doing, so we thought you might want to pick some stuff up before we left.
yes, I'm nice and relaxed and meditated out myself, actually. Yes, I think I'd like to go and get some provisions from a general store or the market, if that's quite alright.
Okay. Well, it's a little.
Yeah.
It's a little later in the evening now, but so the market stalls are closed. But you could probably find a store, a proper like shop that was still open.
Okay. I would like to. Okay, yes. So, Thalar leaves. Well, I don't know if Jordan's coming too. But I'm going to step out of. Were we at the Wink and a Nail House? Where were we?
I don't remember where we left you.
Yeah, sure.
We'd split up after leaving the abbey.
I see. Okay.
The place.
Right. Is there a map nearby, a town map, or if not, a guard?
The town map in resources.
Yeah. You can pretend that you're given one.
Sure. Okay, that's fine. I don't see a general store yet.
There is a market town where you can assume you will find a general store.
I go there.
You go there. And you are now availed of many provisions. What would you like?
I was just going to pick up some basic. I can't remember what you call them in Dungeons and Dragons, like meals.
What do you call them in real life?
Rations.
Rations. Yeah. Yeah. Just wanted to pick up some rations. That was it, really. That's all I've got. I don't really have much to get, to be honest.
Okay. How many days of rations would you like to buy?
How much will a week cost me, good sir or madam, whoever's behind the?
It is a
1 day of rations is 5 silver.
Yeah. So a week's worth would be 35 silver, which is 3 gold, 5 silver. And that is said to you by a human woman who is quite fat.
Oh. Okay.
So
hello.
Her rations are probably pretty good then.
Yeah. Why?
I love these rations.
It's an older female Bradley. Yes, kid. I'll take 7 packs of those rations there, if that's quite all right. And
she puts them up on the counter and says, "They're really good."
Yeah, I can see. Thank you very much for, I assume, tasting them. I will take them off you, and for the better. Sorry, just thinking in my head. How much was that? Sorry.
3 gold and 5 silver.
3 gold, 5 silver. There you go, milady.
And she takes it and she sort of paws it into a drawer.
I don't think I need anything else. I'm probably going to think of something later. But okay, thank you very much, milady, for your service.
Have a nice day.
Yes, you too. Goodbye.
Goodbye. And you leave. And yeah, so you are now good to go. You're fully rationed.
Jordan.
Yo.
Sorry, I was in my room for so long meditating, and it's all sorts of religious stuff. You would have loved it. Well, maybe not. But what were we meant to be doing now?
What I am doing is I am meeting with the paladin and cleric who should have met us with the supplies, and I'm just checking that there are enough rations in that supply.
Great. I'm glad I knew that.
And sure enough, there's plenty of rations for everybody.
Yeah,
I've got
part of the deal we made with the abbot was that they would supply out of all the travel he needs and their torches and stuff like that, wasn't it? I think.
You know, that would have been handy information to have, say, before I went to the store.
Well,
Right,
I thought
so-
about that, but I was quietly chuckling to myself, thinking, I know how to do this.
Well, I've got my own now in my pack, so
Yeah, that's fine. If you get lost down there, you will survive slightly longer than the rest of us.
yep.
Here's a suggestion that I will make to Thalar in benefit of his not knowing the previous agreement. The abbot said he's going to give you all of the sort of bits and bobs that you need, your horses, your packs, your water, your food. But if you need any specific cleric supplies or for Jorn and wizard supplies, you're going to have to go figure that out yourself. So I would say you could go back out shopping now if you wanted to with that knowledge, and if you need to pick up anything faith-based, then I can find the supplies there and tell you what you can find at one of the town
I
doors.
think from knowledge, I'm probably okay.
Okay.
I'm trying to find my list of spells. I don't know where they are now on this thing. Oh, here we go. Yeah, let's just assume I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine.
In that case, just to bring everybody back together and crack on a bit.
I'm just checking one thing, but I'll let you know about
Oh,
it
yeah.
afterwards. It's alright.
Okay, yeah, just let me know. Let's quickly cut back to Sunny, who's still in the blind eye, and you're hanging out. What are you doing? You've secured your guide.
He's leading a Cossack dance in the middle of the.
He is completely alone in that dance. And everybody is looking, and Griefbringer has stood up and he's walking over to Sunny.
Griefbringer, come on! I knew I could rely on you, and he tries to grab Griefbringer's hands. Come on, dance with me.
Griefbringer doesn't. You manage to grab his hand, but he's so huge and strong that it's like trying to move one of the pillars in the center of the room. He just stands completely immobile, and he says, "I think it might be time for you to go, my friend."
Oh, okay. Valorin
is over at the bar pretending not to know who you are.
Valorin!
He's hiding his face with his hands.
Valorin!
And he sort of hangs his head defeatedly, and he stands up and he walks over to the door.
It's time to go.
And Griefbringer walks you over to the door with one hand clasped very firmly on your shoulder, in a friendly yet very firm gesture. And he twists the dial back to Baston and opens the door, and it's the clear night out. And he says, "Yeah, you have a good night there, Sonny."
Thanks, Griefbringer. It's been a pleasure. Can I just ask, what is it about this wheel? What's going on here? What's
and
it?
He says, "Well, my job, isn't it, is to spin the wheel and to open the door for the people when they come to us. Do you not? Have you never been here before?"
No, of course I haven't. You'd remember me, Griefbringer. What's going on with this wheel? Why'd you have to spin it?
And he says, "Oh, well, you see, the Blind Eye is a very special place, Sonny. Very special indeed. The people that come here are usually," he leans in and he says, "unsavories and wanted folk, you see. Usually on the run from something. Not in a bad way, you see. Most of them are very friendly folk, but you're just not the kind of person that you would want to sit in a pub and then the guard comes in, they see your face, and you're on a wanted poster. So the Blind Eye was created as a place for all of them to come together, where they could come and drink in peace. And we realized very early on that having a location anywhere meant that someone could come and raid us. So, well, the owner decided that there's a better way to do it, and he created this inn. And actually, it's a fun fact here, Sonny. We're not inside Baston or any city. We're outside of all of them. When I spin my little wheel, the door opens the door, and you can go in and out. And you come in, I shut the door, and I spin my wheel, and it opens another door. So that way, if anybody ever comes a knocking, we can choose to let him in, or we can choose not."
Sonny looks Griefbringer dead in the eyes and sheds a little tear and says, "Griefbringer, if that's true, how will I ever find you again?" And
he says, "Oh, no, the doors stay in the same place. You'll always see the Blind Eye. It's just the actual inside exists outside of the Primatery. This is a pocket dimension. We just choose to let the door open and close. But no, it's always in the same place. But you get it? You see?"
I get it, Griefbringer, and I would love to come and see you again. I struggled getting in before. Do you think you'll let me in next time?
And he says, and he puts a hand on your back, and Valoran's waiting for you at the top of the stairs, and he's like tapping his foot because you've been having this whole conversation. And Griefbringer says, "I tell you what, Sonny, I'll let you in next time if you remember the password." And he shoves you out the door and shuts it, and there's a flash.
Oh crap! Valoran,
And you're now standing in the cold night air, biting at your face, sobering you up ever so slightly. And Valoran is standing there looking a bit put out and impatient.
Valoran, you remembered the password, didn't you?
And he said, "No."
Oh.
We didn't know it, did we? We had to wait for the bird people to let us in.
I reckon Griefbringer will let me back in. He won't be able to resist my charm. Should we head back?
Yes, you do that.
We do that.
You do the thing. So you head back to a Wink and an Ale House. It's now pretty late, and you find the downstairs is empty. What are you doing? You going to bed?
Sonny won't, but Valoran's welcome to.
Valoran goes to bed.
Taylor goes to bed.
Sonny wanders.
After counting his rations.
Sonny wanders into the kitchen looking for something to eat.
Sonny finds the kitchen's all been shut down, and the stove is cold, but there's an ice box, and in the ice box, Sonny finds some leftover sort of potatoes and things.
And he grabs a plate and starts to make a little snack.
So Sonny puts together a little midnight snack, mostly potatoes and some veg, and maybe a little chicken that he finds in there. It's all very delicious, of course. The cook here is very good. And you chow down on this cold cut.
He leaves a little coin on the side and retires to bed.
Okay. So, what time does everybody wake up?
6 a.m. for me.
Good God. Okay.
Good God.
Taylor's got to do like religious things.
Oh, fair enough. A
Yeah.
boot.
Yes, a brute.
Okay, so you're up first, definitely, I would assume, unless anybody else is waking up at 6 or earlier.
I'll wake up shortly after 6. But
Oh, okay. So you guys wake up between 6 and 7. So you head downstairs, I assume, or do you stay in your rooms?
Yeah, no, head downstairs.
Okay,
I'll be packing, making sure everything's packed up, getting all my adventuring robes on.
You find Sonny at the bar already having a drink.
He didn't even go to bed.
Sonny, how about just this once? Maybe a strong coffee?
And it comes out and she says, "Oh, coffee?" And she looks at Sonny and she goes, "Oh God, what would the fantasy equivalent be of it?" And she leans in and she goes, "Some gnomish." And she gives you a wink.
Cut out, so I didn't hear what it was.
Yeah.
And she says, some gnomish coffee. Gives Sonny a wink.
Yeah. And Sonny taps the side of his nose. Gnomish coffee as always, thank you.
And
Taylor rolls his eyes.
and it looks at Taylor and says, "Can I get you anything, dear?"
Just some. Oh, fine, an ale. Give me an ale.
And she says, "An ale at this time of the morning." She looks down her nose at you and walks into the back.
Should have asked for a gnomish coffee.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
And she comes back with a piping hot mug of coffee that's got a very distinct aroma to it. And she pulls you a pint of ale and puts it down and sort of walks away. I
doubt it.
And she's polishing tables, and she looks at you two and she says, "Gentlemen, did you come in quite late last night?"
Not myself. Oh, sorry. Who's she talking to?
To you, both of you.
Oh, yeah, not myself. Sonny.
Well, yes. There was no one around. I made myself something to eat in the kitchen. I did leave some money.
And she points at you and she says, "You! And she says, I was wondering who'd been in my stores. And she walks into the back, and she comes back, and she puts down the copper piece that you left for her, and she says, is this your idea of what a dinner costs?
That was just a deposit, my lady. And I'm
She
happy.
puts out her hand.
And I give
I
her,
slap Sunny on the back.
and I give her a silver piece,
And she's still holding out her hand.
and then another one,
And she's still holding out her hand.
and then another one.
And she says, and that's for interest. And she puts it in her pocket and she walks away. You hear the clock outside. As you sit there for a while, you hear the clock outside strike 7. And at 7, 2 people come in. You can see them. They walk in. One of them has beautifully polished silver armor with blue trim, and it's clearly one of the paladins of Mishakal. And the other one is wearing some long white robes with blue trim, and it's a younger woman. Or sorry, the younger woman's wearing the armor. The older man is wearing the robes. And they come in and walk up to the bar, and they don't really pay you any heed. They don't know who you are. And it comes out, and they have a conversation. They order some breakfast, and they go and sit over by the fire.
Dalar's a bit jealous of the older guy's robes.
Sick robes.
And they didn't talk. They didn't talk to us. Did you say?
Well, they didn't know who you. They just ordered and sat down. They're waiting to meet someone, but they don't know if it's you or whoever. It's an inn. There's lots of people, so.
Okay.
Sunny, Jordan, Lauren. Are these the 2 that were meant to be meeting? Do you think? I would think so, right?
There's only one way of finding out.
Excuse me, young lady? I just said young lady. Excuse me.
Yeah, it's a young lady.
Yes.
You're like 300 and something, are you? Or 180, or how old are you?
Yeah, my age is being revised a bit at the moment. I'm somewhere around 250, I think.
What?
Yeah,
well,
He's a dwarf. Dwarves live longer.
That's
Yeah.
go-
Yeah, but that's a long time.
It's going to cause some interesting social kind of.
I know. I was in the temple working for a long time.
No wonder you're so bad at it then, they wouldn't increase your skill.
Could I cast a spell soon? Yeah, young lady, I don't suppose you're meant to be meeting some fabulous adventurers for a fabulous adventure, are you?
And she sort of looks at you, and her armor clanks together, and she says, well, sir, I believe I am.
It's lovely to meet you. My name's Thalar, and this is my fabulous adventure.
And she shakes your hand. She says, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name's Sarah, and this is my friend, my colleague, Marco. And Marco gives you a little nod.
Sarah, Marco, nice to meet you both. Well, when are you wanting to stay for breakfast? Are we leaving? What?
And she says, oh, we just ordered a little food. We didn't know how long you'd be, so we're going to have a little snack maybe and get everything together, and then we can go.
Okay, that's fine. We'll pass some time until then.
Okay.
I assume we do.
Yes, you do. And it comes over with some eggs and some sausages and some potatoes, and they tuck in to that with a cup of tea. And Bradley comes out in the morning, and he looks super impressed at the super shiny armor. He's so impressed with this armor, and he comes over and he sees you talking, and he tugs at your sleeve.
Yes, Bradley.
And he goes, that armor's real shiny.
My armor's real shiny.
He says, are you wearing... Is that armor? You wearing armor?
I'm wearing full chainmail at the moment.
He said, that's different. Chainmail. Look at her.
Aw.
She's wearing full-blown, like, polished
Yeah.
plate armor. She says, that's not as... Hers, my shinier. Okay, he... And he looks, and you can see his own reflection in it, and she sort of chuckles and says, well, hi there, little man. And he says, oh, you're shiny. And she sort of chuckles and tousles his hair.
Thalar looks a bit sad.
And Bradley sort of toddles off. And then about half an hour later, you see the dark elf, Samri, who you don't recognize, but Sunny probably does. He comes in, and he walks in with a human woman, and look around, and then he sees Sunny, and he comes up to Sunny and he says, "Good morning, my friend. Are you ready to go?"
Good morning, Samri. Yes, yes. Let me introduce you to the fabulous adventuring group.
Yeah.
This is Thaler.
And he shakes your hand.
Thaler, this is Samri. He's going to be our guide on our next.
Samri says, "It's a pleasure to meet you, Taylor. This is my colleague, Perdita." And Perdita gives you a little nod. She says, "Oh, it's nice to meet you."
Yeah, I'm gonna need that one spelling, please.
Oh.
Perdita.
Perdita.
Perdita and Pongo.
Prakatan. Perdita, Prakatan.
Got a long list of names now.
Yeah, this is double the size of the adventuring group, so you know. Got me some back on this one.
Samari, Perdita. This is Jonan and Valoran.
Just as like once everybody's gathered, then I will come downstairs.
Oh, you're gonna make an entrance?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, go on. So everybody's gathered. What do you do?
I'll just down the stairs. You'll just start hearing the small tapping of my staff, and
Bradley's looking over the bar to see what's about to happen.
And just faintly, you can hear
the final countdown.
Few like flute notes on the wind.
Okay.
It's a musical number.
Yeah. Jesus, pleases.
And yeah, just a little bit like that, a little bit like high noon. And I'll just come downstairs, and I've got like my tight fitting wizard robes on, with my backpack and my belt with loads of pockets and pouches in, and my wand up on one side on it in a little sheath, my big quarterstaff, and I'll just say, "Oh, good, we're all here then."
Dum 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 dum.
Yeah. And it rolls her eyes in a big way, and Bradley busts out laughing, looking at your outfit. And
I want to just wink at Bradley and cast Mage Hand and just ruffle his hair.
And he sort of scoots off, and it goes back to whatever she was doing. Fuck, gotta keep all these people straight. So now Sarah comes up, and she shakes your hand. She says, "I'm Sarah. This is my colleague Marco. He's a cleric of Mishkal. I'm a paladin, you see, and we're here to help you on your we call it a quest."
Yes. Well, we can discuss more on the road if we're all ready.
She says, "Well, just one thing. Who are these guys?" And she points at Samri and Perdita. And she goes, "I didn't know. I thought it was just the four of you. Who are they?"
Yeah, Sonny, who are these people?
This is Sonny was sent off to find us a guide.
Yes. Sarah, Marco, we were encouraged to seek out a guide on our mission who has been to the actual city that we're going, and most importantly returned. And I have found such a person. Samari has been there, returned, and is willing to guide us and share in our 50-50 our treasure, any treasure we find, which I thought was a great deal if we do return safely. Obviously, if I die horribly, I don't really care, but I'd prefer to return.
Well, you bartered with our sacred artifact?
No, that's separate from the deal. That's.
She looks a little relieved, and Marco leans in and he says, "Where do you meet these fine folk? How'd you come to meet them?" And he shakes Samri's hand. He says, "Marco, how are you doing? What's your experience? How do you know what you're doing?"
Confused old man, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. And Samri says, "Well, I have been to the catacombs many times. I have brought back many treasures, and I'm happy to go again. It is a very fruitful endeavor every time I go, but it is very dangerous." And he looks at this sort of middle-aged man, and he kind of sizes him up with his eyes. Does anybody do any I can play the whole game myself, but
I was gonna say, you gave yourself 4 NPCs.
I know, but you know,
Sonny,
it's your job to interact with them.
Sonny, in a momentary lapse in his drunkenness, realizes that maybe he's made a mistake here, and he'd like to do a perception check to see if Samara is actually telling the truth.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Is it perception or are you going to roll insight?
Yeah, I think insight's probably...
Okay, that's probably good, because that contests perception.
Let me... exclamation mark. Roll 1d20. Sorry, this is very slow. I should just roll real dice. Insight. Yeah.
Oh, that'll do. You get an insight into him, and you can tell he's all business. That he's a man of his word. If you're going to keep your word, he's going to uphold his end of the bargain. And he seems he's very confident. You can't discern whether or not he's actually capable, because you can't just glean that from a conversation. But he's very confident, and you get the sense that he's not trying to bullshit you.
Okay, so and Sonny, you know, backs him up then and says, "Look, I've had a few drinks with Samari. I believe what he's got to say. He seems trustworthy. He had a few tales to tell, some adventures that seem genuine. I think we need to trust him."
Bradley walks by with a little tray of sort of empties and things that he's just bust, and he says, "Who haven't you had a few drinks with?"
Bradley, as ever, you are a very astute young man.
And he goes, "Thanks, I don't know what that means." And he walks away.
I ruffle his hair.
He's gone. And he says, "Everyone's ruffling my hair today." And he walks away. And Samri says, it is 10 days traveling. Are you ready?"
We are.
We are.
Good, then we will mount up on our horse. They are outside. Come. And he leaves.
I will lead the fabulous adventuring group out.
We follow.
That's right. Get back.
And Sarah and Marco bring up the rear. And Bradley waves as he sees you. Goes, "Bye,
bye, Bradley."
And
be well, brothers.
Take care, Bradley.
And
sorry,
yep.
When we set off, I would like to ride alongside Marco and Sarah just to talk to them for a moment.
Okay. So here's how we're going to do 10 days worth of travel, which I have absolutely no intention of RPing when I've got 4 people.
Thank you very much.
What we're going to do is we're going to do, there's a string of horses. You've got yours that they've brought from the temple for you with their 2. So there's 6 horses that the paladin and the cleric have. And then Samri and Perdita have their own horses loaded up with stuff. So you mount up and you form this little train and you head out of town and you start heading up the paths. And you have a leisurely ride through the countryside. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to roll. How do we want to do this? Because you'll just all learn this about each other. Okay, everybody roll 1d4.
Okay. Ooh. 4.
3 for me and Sonny.
So 3, 3, and 4. So that's and divided by 3. So that's 3 average. And I'm going to average that out to 3. So what you're going to do is you're going to ride these horses and you're going to come across a town. And I'm going to set up the scene for that town in a second. But over this trip, you've just learned a few facts about your party. So I'll share those with you. And the first person that you learn about is going to be Marco, because he's the one that you just mentioned. And I'm just going to give this information to everybody because we're going to get to everybody in a bit. So Marco's background, you learn, is that he was born in Anisti, and his parents were very loving but very poor. You learn that he came to Mishakal's service after a very short career in his 20s fighting in the slum rings, but he wanted to use his powers. He had sort of a gift for the healing arts that he would use on himself after the fights. And so he wanted to use those powers for good, so he dedicated himself to become a cleric. He's got a big facial scar on his eye, across his eye from a fight that he had once against a vampire. And that he is a very experienced cleric on the deployment for Mishakal's missions, and that this is his 5th time out. So you learn all of that about Marco in the few days that it takes you to ride to this next town. And I'll give you the backgrounds for the other characters that you also would have learned, but it'll take some time to learn some more facts. So Sarah, so she's a paladin. She's a younger woman. She's her background was that she was born into the Order of Mishakal, but did not want to pass the rites, either couldn't or didn't want to pass the rites of initiation to become a full-blown priestess, and so she chose instead to become a paladin. She was very spunky and hot-headed as a kid, so the whole academic life of priestdom didn't suit her. She wanted to go and fight. So you learn that about her. Samri is a dark elf, as you know, and you learn that he was born in the Underdark, and he left at the age of 75, which is when elves come of age. It's kind of like they're 18, right when he was on the cusp of adulthood, maybe just a little younger than that, because he wanted to seek his glory and fortune. He was very willful, so he went out into the world to do that. And you talk to Perdita, and you learn she's a young human woman, and you learn that she came from a poor slum family, and she turned to a life of crime to try and gain some money and raise her station in the world. And so you learn all those things about those people on the few days that it takes you to ride into town. And what you then learn is the town that you then come across is 40.
That's a lot of towns.
So you come into a small town.
Do Samri and Perdita mention what it is they do? Like, are they rogues? Are they?
I mean, like, for
people?
game purposes, yes, they're both rogues.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I know that cleric and paladin are more like titles than classes, but I assume they would be rogues. Just
Well, cleric and paladin are also classes, but I see what you mean. Yeah,
But
so
they would be more
they're
like a title if you were a paladin.
I see,
you'd be a paladin
yeah.
or something.
Yeah, so
it would not be uncommon for you to say I am a paladin, whereas to go I am a bit of a rogue is probably a bit more unusual.
yes, so they are, for your purposes, they are rogues. You walk into this town, and it's a small town. It's probably a town of 100 people. You come in, and it's not very hustly and bustly, but there's a few people walking around. And you walk in, and they sort of look at you, and you sort of greeted with this section. You've got some houses here and there. There's a general store. You've got the community hall, and then a well in the center of this, sort of on this crossroads. There's a well in the center. And then you can hear a blacksmith, and then around the town that you came in, you saw some farming sort of huts and cottages. It's just a little sort of sleepy town. So you rock up into this town on your sort of 3rd night. You don't camp in the woods anymore. You're now at a town.
Well,
Did I get a
this
chance
nice?
to talk to Marco and Sarah, by the way, during all this?
You did, and you learned all the things that I just told you.
Okay, but I also had specific questions.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you ask them tonight over
Okay.
dinner.
They were too chatty for 3 straight days for me to get.
Yeah, they were just chat, and you're just like, I need a break.
Probably, to be honest, it was probably Sailor just hanging around and going, "Oh my god, you're real clerics! Oh my god!"
Wow.
Just fanboying a bit. I didn't get a chance to do much.
Oh my god.
He rarely gets to see someone useful from the order.
We're different orders. Get your religions right, son.
Out of order.
Ah.
Do any of the maps mention what this town is called, Alex? Or do we hear it as we enter? Has anybody said we're coming up to the town of?
It's too small to be on any map, and you can tell that as you come up, Samri seems to know. Samri seems to know what the town is called, because as you come up, he says, "This is Yevering." Ye. Yavering.
Are you sure?
It is my accent.
Yes, yes. Is that a normal drow accent?
He says, I don't know. Is that a normal dwarf accent?
Kinda, yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
We all sound quite like this, to be honest.
And he sort of shrugs and says, like, fair cop. And you come in, and you're in this center of this tiny town, and a new person or someone comes up to you. It's a let me pull up my. There's a young man comes up to you, and he's got a shaven head, and he's probably 22, and he's got 10 or 15 tattoos all over his body. And he comes up and he says, hail and well met, travelers.
Hi, we're Gianna's Fabulous Adventuring Group plus company. We're just passing through town, but we'd like a place to stay for the night if possible.
And he says, yeah. And he says, sure. You're very welcome. We don't mind the travelers here. We don't have an inn of sorts, but I'm sure we could find you some beds for the night and some of our
or a roof, anything would.
No, don't be silly. No, we'll have a spare beds around town. As long as you don't mind not sleeping all in the same place, we can probably accommodate you in our many houses.
That'd be fine. Yeah, if the occupants are willing, we'd be willing to pay for that.
And he says, "Okay, well, come on down to the community hall, and we go gather there every night, and you come with us, and then we'll find you some spots. We'll see who's got some space."
He seems very eager for this armed group to be in his town. Can I just check his body language, just see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roll an insight check.
Do an insight. I don't like happy people.
It's just because you're a bitter sod.
Well, yes, but that's why happy people make me suspicious. 12.
You glean no malice from his intentions are noble.
Yeah, he's just one of those people I don't like very much.
Poor guy.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with him. He's just not the type of person I get on with very much. They wear on my nerves. I like people who are useful.
Great.
I typed Yavering into my notes, and it's apparently in the dictionary somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure it's a town somewhere.
Yeah.
I didn't just make it up off the top of my head. I'm sure no one's ever had an original thought, right?
Of course, yeah.
It's a hamlet in Northumberland, apparently.
It is. Yeah.
Do you know it?
No, I've also just googled it.
Yes.
Small hamlet in the northeast.
I was like, you've been to the
Northumberland?
Good God, it's like in the middle of bloody nowhere. Good Lord. Anyway,
I heard the rattle of many Google keys.
Yes.
As soon as you mentioned it.
We're like, what?
Oh, it's right up on the borders.
Yeah, it's way up there.
Cool.
Up my way, but not quite.
Not quite.
Yeah.
Wrong end. Anyway.
Yes. Sorry. Yavering. So yes, are we all splitting up into different places then?
Well, you have to go to the community hall to get found beds.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. They don't just have a register of where the beds are. You have to go, ask.
Yes. Well, I would assume then we approach.
Yeah, we'll follow when he leads.
Yep.
So you go to the community hall, and there's a place outside to hitch your horses. And Samri and the NPCs follow you.
I'll just drop back a bit, and I'll just say, Samri, are these people to be trusted? I take it.
And he leans in and he says, "I have been here before. They are kind people with strange ways."
Right. Okay. I'll be nice.
And he nods and he says, "You just have to hope they don't pick you tonight."
Excuse me.
And he chuckles to himself and he walks a little faster out of your conversation.
Was that a malicious chuckle, or was that just?
No. It was an amused sort of, I know it's going to happen and you don't kind of chuckle.
Brilliant.
And the boy or the man, he's a young man. the young man leads to the community hall, and he throws open the door, and he says, "Yavering, we've got visitors," and you sort of a murmur goes up. "Ooh, visitors!" And so
I will sleight of hand and just palm my wand into my hand and prepare a fireball.
Okay, I want you to roll a sleight of hand check.
I feel I may have been a bit too cocky here.
That's sort of Jordan's bit, isn't it?
Yeah. D20, I think I plus.
You do it. You do that.
18, I think.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, that's 21.
Yeah, you definitely you palm the shit out of that wand.
I just like, and I'll just keep it behind my back.
And you waltz in with everybody else, and you can see. You look at Samri, all of you look at Samri as sort of the and Perdita, as people that have been here before and done this before, and they look pretty calm. They don't look on edge. They just look a bit amused. And you notice this. So the community hall's full. Every single person in the town is there. So there's probably 100-ish people. And they all are, various shapes and sizes. Your regular old town folk. Every single one of them has tattoos. Every single one. And the older people are just absolutely covered from head to toe in them, and the younger folk have, maybe 6 or 7, and it sort of ranges by age. But they are absolutely painted. And an older man comes up with a beard, and he says, "Welcome, travelers! Welcome, welcome! Do come in! I am the, well, I guess you'd call me the leader of this town. I am Enilron." Shakes your hand, or puts a hand out to whomever wants to shake it.
Thalar shakes his hand.
And he turns. He says, "Ah!"
Near the back. And
he sees Samri, and he says, "Samri, son of a gun, you're back!" And Samri gives him a little bow, and he says, "Yes, I am back. Thank you very much. We are here for a night. We are on our way back to Ptolemy. Will you have somewhere for us?" And he says, "For you, Samri, for you, always, always. Come in. We're just about to start for the evening." And he says, "Oh yes, of course, of course." And they turn. They say, "Oh, won't you join us?" And he sort of motions that you should come into the fray.
Yeah, Thalar does.
Can Sonny do a perception check? He's been to many a party and celebration. Can he glean some kind of insight into what these kind of celebrations? Because looking around and seeing what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, is that perception or is it insight? What are you looking
I would say, well, actually, Sonny, you tell me what you want to roll, and I'll tell you what you do.
So let me think. He has, my background. He's traveling around, getting into these kind of situations, parties and celebrations. He's interested in them because of the drinking. So,
I say try insight.
Insight.
Insight's like body language and such. And
Yes.
All right. Yeah. I suppose so.
Perception is just what you notice, right? And insight is what you kind of sense.
Yeah. What you
body language? What kind of feeling you get from a person?
Okay.
It's your feel.
That's your insight.
What have I done wrong there?
Space after the R.
So insight, 11.
You everybody's there. Everybody seems to have a smile on their face, or not in a creepy way, not like they're super excited that you're there, but just that, travelers. They know Samri clearly. He's come through several times. He's well known to the town. Perdita is welcomed, and you are with them. You are their, guests, I suppose. So you are welcome into the town as well. You get the sense that you've clearly gate crashed something that they were already doing, but you haven't imposed on them in any way.
Okay. I guess Sonny would just kind of maybe just pass that on to the group. They got a good feeling about this. This looks like a good party. Let's enjoy ourselves. Let's relax.
Thalar is all too happy.
Near the back. One still in hand.
Oh God! What the fuck was that?
Sorry, that's my keyboard.
And he says, Well, come. Now we're just about to start. You can join us. You see, here in Yavering every night we have a little ceremony, and everybody gets to take part, but only one person gets to be the guest of honor. And we decide
Fireball's ready. The fireball
we
is
decide
ready.
that by lottery. So why don't you go ahead and draw straws? And he pulls out, not draw straws, draw lots. And so he pulls out a big tub, and it's full of different colored balls, and they're all super multicolored. And all the townspeople start to kind of push forward, and each one takes a ball. And yeah.
In the confusion, I just bend down to tie my lace, and I will cast invisibility on myself.
Okay.
And just move like out of the crowd while no one's like paying attention to what people are doing. I'll step back and invisible.
Okay, you do that.
And I'll put the wand away because I don't need the fireball anymore.
Okay, so you... Oh, I love it, Sunny. So Sunny, Thalar, and Valor... Well, everybody, really. I'm just going to need to write this down. Everybody roll a D100. Let me roll for everybody.
Do you want me to do one for Valoran?
Yeah, well, you do one for Valoran. I'll do the NPCs. I'm sure there's a bit.
82 for Trev.
82?
Yeah.
How many was that? 21, 44, 90 for Perdita. And I'll wait till Thalar gets back for him to do his. He went to let the dog out. Yeah, so if you guys need to take 5, go ahead. I think he went to take the dog out.
Right, okay, well I'll just have a quick wee then.
Yeah, you go for it. Enjoy.
You'd be impressed with tonight's notes, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of notes for tonight. I'm learning. Just, while we're here, what was the name of the abbot guy?
He was called... I wrote it down.
I didn't get his name.
Hildebrand.
Hildebrand. Thank you.
So I think everyone had a good game of Weave the other night, Alex. You missed out.
Good, I'm pleased to hear it. I'm sorry I couldn't make it.
Yeah.
It was quite funny. I'm still amazed at Trevor.
Yeah,
What is
well,
that?
you'll be. He must have drawn some good cards because
The
there's
entire
some
start-
hidden stuff that you don't even know about as well.
There's the entire start of the point of the story is that we got travelled in time,
Mm-hmm.
and we spent about half an hour lost before Trev goes, "Oh, by the way, I've got an entire map of space and time in my bag." It was like, oh, okay then. Well, it's pretty relevant.
Yeah.
Although, maybe that would have been helpful information.
Although I liked the thought that perhaps he was worried that he'd caused the whole thing in the first place and was a bit worried about.
Yeah, he did it well. I was just like, oh my god.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
I'll do that again sometime when if we get through a week or if anyone
Oh, very good.
Quick bit if Alex needs a bit off.
Yeah, I mean, likewise, Alex, it'd be quite easy to generate you a character. So if you ever want to jump
That'd be
in and
grand.
have a rest, we could give it a go.
Right, you go, we.
It was a bit of a disaster to begin with. So everyone has an app on their phone to help them generate a character, and I completely got it wrong how to do that. So the first half an hour was a disaster, but then we got it figured out, and I think we had a lot of fun. It was good.
Well, if it streamed, did you post it?
Yeah, so I'll send you a link. There's an edited version
Yeah,
that cuts out all the problems
Waffle at
and
the beginning,
just goes straight into the story. So it's
Okay.
in essence, it's kind of. Have you seen The Flight of the Navigator?
I have not.
All right. Basically, it's a really good film. Actually, you should check that out. Maybe. Oh well. I enjoyed it as a child, so I'm not sure if it stands up the test of time. But it's about this little kid who he returns home after getting lost in the woods, and everything's moved on like 8 years or something, and he's family have moved on without him, and he kind of coming to terms with being out of time for 8 years, and I think it turns out this little alien kidnapped him and returned him back to Earth.
I'm looking at some of the Google image results. It's the most 80s movie.
Yeah. So
sorry about that. I'm back now.
I think
Jordan went to go pee, so you're cool.
Oh, cool.
But roll a d100 for me.
Oh god, how do I do that again?
Well, you roll.
Roll D100.
Yeah, but what dice is that for? Oh, do you know what? I'll just do it in the thing.
I would just do it in the app.
Yeah.
You use 2 10s if you do it with dice, and usually if you've got 2 10s in a set, one will have single figures and one will have double figures.
Yeah. Do you know what? 16. That
Okay.
bad? What are we rolling?
You don't know what you're rolling yet.
How big is this? Place?
The community hall. It's probably 80 by.
Is it like
40.
is it holding most the inhabitants of the town?
It's every single person in the town is in there.
I'm just gonna work out how much XP 100 villagers will give.
Well, a villager is a 0 challenge rating.
Yeah.
So what's 100 times 25? There you go, 2,500.
That'd get me a bit closer to level 6.
I wonder how you think you're going to kill every single villager at once.
Well, 2 firewalls, 12 seconds, boom.
Okay, well, I'm glad you've got your little plan. As
always.
So,
what's your alignment?
Neutral. I could probably talk my way out of it.
Who rolled the closest to 38?
Oh well, Sonny, did 30.
Let me quickly check the NPCs. 41, closer.
That's it.
Where are the others? Where's my other
Got
D100s?
One got a 90 or something.
Oh, it's in general. That's what it is. Sorry. So 44, 90, 35.
35.
Ah, there you go. Perdita, winner, chicken dinner. So Perdita dips her hand into this big pot and she pulls out a ball, and when she opens her hand, the ball is white, and then all the other balls had different colors. And the townsfolk all sort of go, woo, and they clap and cheer, and she's clearly the winner. And she sort of shrugs, and she looks like this is happening. She knows what's going to happen. She's not concerned. And so they pull up a chair for her, and she sits astride the chair, and she pulls down the shoulder off of her tunic. And the big guy, what did I call him? He was Enelron. He comes up, and he's got a needle and a little pot of ink, and he starts tattooing her. And everybody's sort of grinning and looking, and then after a while, he finishes and wipes the extra ink away, and she turns around, and there's a beautiful tattoo of a tree on her shoulder, and everybody cheers and cheers and cheers. And then Enelron says, "And everybody, before you go home tonight, we've got some travelers. Who has room for our fine folks? Hamri, I've got room for you." And a little old lady at the back goes, "I can take someone." And a few people start shouting, and it's clear that you've all got rooms for the night. And one by one, these sort of assorted villagers come up to start taking you off to your bed.
Sonny, who has taken interest in everyone's interest in tattoos, takes his top off and reveals a mighty dragon tattooed down his back. So what do you think of that?
And Enelron looks at you and goes, "Ha! Ha, ha, ha!" Then he turns you around with a big meaty paw. And he says, "Look, everybody!" And everybody looks and they go, "Woo!" And they start clapping and clapping and clapping. And he says, "You're welcome in Yavering anytime." And he claps you on the shoulder.
Thanks for it.
Making friends.
Oh yeah, he appreciates a good tattoo, does Sonny.
And he says, "Actually, I tell you what, friend, that's such a fine tattoo, you've given me an idea." And he says, "Giles!" And the man from earlier comes up, the little sort of youngish man. And he says, "Yes?" He says, Get me an ale, and one for my friend. I have something to discuss with him. And Giles runs off, and he comes back with 2 big foamy flagons of ale for you, Sonny, and for Enelron.
Cheers, Ed.
That's fine for some.
Cheers.
Alex,
Yeah.
while I am invisible, it only lasts an hour, so I'm not expecting it to last all night. But while I am invisible, you said that you did a tree on Perdita.
Yep.
Can I just want to like investigate some of the other ones I can see. Are they all like just mundane things, or do I notice, or can I notice any? Are there any like anything like sort of magical, like a rune type thing, or anything like that?
People
Or
are wearing
just, like,
tattoos of every conceivable shape and size, and you get the impression there's a couple that are sort of the same and this and that, and you get the impression that if it could be put on human flesh, you would probably find it in this town. But what you don't notice is anything that's objectively like, you see sort of magical themed things like fairy trees and this and that, but you don't see anything where you're like, oh, there's a fucking sigil or whatever.
No light signals. No
Judge,
Okay.
nothing like that.
Judd, I was so worried that you were about to use your invisibility to failure.
No, not quite.
Thank you.
I think Sonny would just come out and ask. So while he's got Enroll's attention, he would just, you know, would you mind explaining to me this fascination with tattoos? You know, my order of monks, we would often tattoo ourselves based on our findings and our adventures travelling the world. What's inspired the tattoos here?
And he grins and he says, well, friend, seems we're cut from the same cloth. Every night we come and we watch a new tattoo be added to one of our number. It's something we've been doing for generations and generations. It's the way that we express ourselves. It's the way that we express our art. You'll find that everybody here in town has a bit of skill with a needle and ink, and it's just sort of our culture, I suppose you could call it. What earned you that dragon?
This dragon on my back is based not on a real dragon, is based on my ability to withstand a particular drink called the dragon that our monastery brew, and it's a competition once a year. The monks will gather in the courtyard and take it in turns. Each shot is called a spine of the dragon, and there's a competition to see how many spines one can drink, and it shows Enroll the dragon on his back one more time and says count the spines on my dragon.
How many does he count?
And there are 27 spines on the back of the dragon's back and tail, denoting how many shots Sonny was able to take before passing out.
And Enelron is counting, and he gets 27. He says, "Holy shit! You must have had a great night and a worse morning."
And Sonny says, I didn't wake up for 3 days, not a morning, 3 days.
That sounds about right. Well, I tell you what, you seem like a man who likes his drink. How about that?
You've got me right. And Sonny downs the entire beer that he was handed in one go.
And he stands up and he says, "I tell you what, we've had something kicking around here for a while. I wonder if you'd like it. We don't have any use for it, but I think it seems right up your alley." And he goes over this big chest over at the side, sort of just an odds and ends piece. And he starts sort of pawing through it. And he pulls out, he goes, "Ha!" And he finds it, and he pulls out a hat. It's a straw, sort of like, a conical sort of rice paddy style hat. I think your picture might have one already in it.
Yeah.
So if you already had one, it's a different one. And he comes over and he says, "Here is for you."
Sonny is just speechless. So it's just like, wow, thank you. This is, I don't know what to say. And he throws off his hat, and puts this one on. Thank you so much. This is amazing.
And as you put the hat on, you feel a pull on the side of your head, and the pull is in the exact same direction as your drink. And he says, "You feel it?"
Yeah. What?
And he says, "Well, we found that a while back. Someone passed through town. They left it here. Well, we found out about that hat. Just a straw hat, or looks like it anyway. But as long as you're wearing it, you will always know the direction of the nearest alcoholic beverage."
And Sonny's jaw drops open, and like a puzzle piece has fallen into place for his kind of holy mission. That is just
The angelic choir.
yeah, that's music to his ears. You don't understand. That is the
Even Adam is speechless.
yeah, that is the entire purpose of our order, is to seek this land, find new drinks, and celebrate life. And this is the greatest gift you could ever have given me.
And he says, he just sort of looks quite chuffed. He sees how touched you are. And he says, "Well, anything I can do for a monk on his merry way. I tell you what, here, try it out." And he scolds his drink down in one. And you've already finished yours.
Yep.
And so the instant he finishes his, you feel the hat go, whoop, and it flicks back in the other direction out the front door.
So Sonny would follow it, of course.
And he laughs and he starts following you, and you walk out the front door, and directly across the street, you feel the hat pulling you. Directly across the street, there's a light on in a house, and the door is closed.
So Sonny looks at Enroll.
And Enroll, he walks past you and he on the door and he says, "Sarah, Sarah!" And a little old lady opens up the door and she says, "Yes?" And he says, "I think you got a drink from a friend here." And she sees you wearing the hat and she goes, "Oh, yes, dearie, come in." And she sort of lets you come in. And her house is a nice old lady house, but you don't immediately notice any drink. But you can feel the hat pulling you towards the kitchen.
And she's called Sarah.
Yeah.
Sarah, this is the strangest thing. I've got a hat and it's pulling me to your house and telling me that there's a drink in here.
Says, "Well, if you can find it, you can have it."
And Sonny looks around and kind of hops from one foot to the other, excited, and just follows the hat.
And you walk into the kitchen and you feel the hat pulling you over to a rug. You're standing on top of this rug over by the door, and then it starts pulling in all directions at the same time. But you don't notice anything around you. There's nothing like sitting on a counter or anything, or in a cupboard.
Okay, Sarah, Enroll, put me out of my misery. Where is it? Where is it? Come on, this is fun.
And,
this is fun.
Sarah looks at your feet.
So Sonny says, "Well, okay, if you don't mind," and he rolls up the rug.
There's a hatch, a trapdoor.
As a player, I think Sonny should be suspicious, but I think he's so excited that maybe he would. Yeah. So
Can I? Would I have noticed? Was I close enough to overhear that this happened?
Yeah, I'm sure you would have been. It wasn't a huge
Right.
hole. You would have been following
Then
him.
I will follow with him. I won't say anything,
Yeah.
but I'll just follow with him because I'm quite interested in this hat as well.
okay. So Sonny pulls up the trapdoor and looks at Enroll and Sarah and says, "It's down here,
And
is
they
it?"
nod.
So
And they nod.
So Sonny goes down.
And you find yourself in a small underground distillery, and you find that there is a giant, basically a bathtub full of moonshine.
Sonny doesn't know whether to get
And
out.
the hat's fucking freaking out. The hat's like, "Here, bitch, here!"
I was not expecting that voice.
Did it actually talk to him?
No, it's just that's the impression you get from the strength of the pull you feel.
Okay. Sonny doesn't know whether to pull out his notebook and start taking notes or just start drinking.
I think we know what Sonny would do.
Yeah, he'd start drinking. He gets out his flask, starts sampling the wares.
It's one of the stronger ones that you've had. It's probably the only sort of legal use for it would be to be stripping the warts off of mules.
Okay, I think Sonny would take well, no, I think he's a polite chap. I think he would, go, whistle. Sarah,
you hear Sarah from upstairs. She goes, "Hey, I thought you'd like that, dearie. Help yourself."
Well, you've taken the words right out of my mouth, Sarah. I'm going to take a sample of this, and he'll fill one of his flasks.
As you head back up and you shut the trapdoor behind you and the rug rolls back over it, she hands you a little bottle with a ribbon on it, and she says, "And one for the road," and she gives you a wink.
And again, Sonny's just overwhelmed. He said, "This, I don't know. Well, what can I say? How can I repay you both? This has been a beautiful gift. Probably the most precious treasure this hat I've ever come across." And he's genuine. I think he would be genuine from his order of monks. How precious this hat is. What can I do to repay you?
And Anelron claps you on the shoulder and he says, "I tell you what you can do is you can make sure it never comes back. These frickin' kids steal it every goddamn time I turn my back. So if you get it out of this town, you're doing me a favor."
Okay, Alex. I hope you can hear that over mic. That was awesome.
So that's what Sonny's up to, and Jordan. So Thalar, what are you doing? The NPCs have all gone to bed.
Okay.
Yeah, they went back to they got pulled to different houses. They all left.
Where did I get pulled?
You were asked to, or you were claimed, shall we say?
Well.
By a middle-aged man and wife, and they are, they came up and said, "Well, we've got a place for you," and
lead the way then.
And they say, "Oh yes, right this way," and they take you out, and they wind down a bit further away towards a bit of a farming hut, and they say, "Well, let's see." The woman says, "I'm Ariel."
Nice to meet you, Ariel. I'm Thalar.
And the guy sticks out his hand. He says, "And I'm Elror."
Elror, good to meet you. They shake his.
And he shakes your hand. And they say, "Well, it's not much, but it's home." And he opens the door, and you find yourself in a very humble sort of cottage with 2 rooms. There's the main room, and then their bedroom. And you get the sense that they're of few means, but they're giving up what they have. They don't have much, but they're happy to share whatever. You get this very sort of down home feel from them.
Well, I appreciate you having me, and where should I bed myself down?
And Ariel says, "Well, we've got a little here," and she sort of fluffs up. They've got some cushions on a wooden bench that normally sits on the side of the dining table, but they pulled the dining table out. They said, "Well, if you don't want to sleep on the floor, you're very welcome to sleep here."
Ah, well, that'll be very nice. Thank you very much. Well, a peaceful night to you both, and thank you again for having me.
And they give you a little bow and a curtsy, and they retire for the evening. That was much easier than Sonny's. And Valoran goes to bed too. And now it's the morning.
Hey.
Who said hey?
No, I said yay.
Oh, I thought you said hey.
Once Giannon and Sonny are done, I'd just like to talk to them a sec.
Okay, so everybody else has gone to bed. This is your opportunity to do whatever you want before morning.
Yeah, just like whenever you've done the bit in with the drinks and stuff, I'm like, "Sonny, that's an interesting hat you've got there."
Interesting. You don't know the half of it.
You are well pleased with it, my friend. Could I borrow it? Because I mean, only for a few minutes, and no harm will come to it. I'm just quite interested in the spell that's on it. If that's all right with you, I'd like to see if I can understand it a little more.
Oh, what would study?
No harm will become the hat. It may even help us to learn how to make more.
I just think, seriously, this would be a precious item to Sonny.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out what he would do.
I promise you no harm will come of it. You can sit with me. It's just a simple ritual to see what kind of spell is on it. But it's entirely up to you. I understand how much that means to you and how happy you are to have it.
I think what we've been through together, I think Sonny would allow you to examine it. Yeah, no. In fact, I've just thought. Yeah, his pursuit is to investigate these kind of things for himself for the betterment of his religion and his monastery. So yes, I think if you can help him, then he would. Yes, he'd hand it over.
Okay. I'll just clear a bit of space on a table. Take out a piece of paper next to me and my ink and pen. I'll put the hat down in front of me and I'll dip my finger in just a bit of ale and I'll just draw some runes just circling it, kind of like the ones I saw when we took the gem with Circus into the pavilion. And I'll just like circle it a bit and then I will use 10 minutes just making notes, ritually casting Identify on the hat. And
Okay.
Sonny can sit next to me and everything, and I'll just have my wand next to me, but like not touching it, and I'll ritually cast Identify, please.
Okay.
Which I can do. Yeah.
I've done it.
Remember how to do that. Just looking to see, because I can be a quite suspicious person, if there's anything that we've not been told about the hat.
Do you have now there, Jordan? Do you have a pearl worth at least 100 gold pieces and an owl feather?
No, I don't. Right, take that back. I won't do that. And I'll try it, but as the spell's not coming together.
Pretty quickly you realize that you're missing some major component.
I'll give it back to Sonny and say, if it's all right with you, we might have to try another time. I seem to have. I don't think I don't think I understand the spell properly yet. If you let me borrow it another time, I will be happy to try again.
Yep, Sonny would be happy with that.
Right, and then I'll go to bed with whoever's willing to house me.
You were not claimed because you were invisible, so you are homeless for the night.
Right, well, I'll stay in the town hall then, just with a seat.
It's locked.
Oh, is that not where we went?
Night.
Are you visible now?
Yeah, I was visible after it only lasts an hour, so
yeah.
I was visible pretty much after the tattooing.
I think Sonny, knowing your plight, would try and help you out here.
Sonny, you're staying with Sarah, coincidentally enough. So she comes out and she sees Jordan and goes, "Oh, hello. Who are you?"
Oh, I'm Gian, and I seem to have missed the tattoo festival, and I seem to be a bit put out for the night, unfortunately.
And she nods and she says, "Well, that's all right, dearie. We've got space here. I tell you what, I've only got 2 beds and one's only big enough for one, so I'll take the guest room tonight, and you two can sleep in the master bedroom."
No, please, I'll
make it up. No, really, it's fine. And she totters off and starts making up the queen size bed with new sheets. She comes out and she says, "It's all ready for you. Good night." And she shuts the door behind her to the guest room.
I will.
Sonny begins to tell you tales about how he and the fellow monks used to share beds at the monastery.
Oh, I bet they did.
Nice big sigh.
No wonder that.
Well, we're going to be traveling later, Sonny. So, I mean, I'm just a bit tired, to be honest.
And the scene fades to black.
Got a bit of a headache.
No, the camera pans towards the window.
Yes. To the roaring fire.
I'll just take 1 or 2 of the pillows and just line them in the middle of the bed, and I'll sleep. Oh, I will try and sleep with Sonny just telling me stories.
Okay.
This one time at Monk, at the monastery.
At Monk Camp. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so the morning dawns. You hear the roosters crow, and you hear Sarah knock on the door. "Good morning, dearie."
Good morning, Sarah.
Morning, Sarah.
It's time to. Well, I'm getting up. Would you like? I don't have much, but do you want some food?
We've got our own rations. Please don't step out further.
Oh, all right.
Thank you very much.
She hears her shuffle away. And Thalar, similarly, the morning breaks, and you've woken up early because the bench was desperately uncomfortable, and the dawn happens to shoot right into your face. So you're up at probably 5:30 or no, it's autumn, so you probably up at 6:30.
Yeah, cool. I bid my two hosts adieu. Thank you for having me. Maybe we'll see you again one day, but it was nice meeting you all the same.
They give you a little sort of, they shake your hand and they wish you well and tell you that you're welcome anytime.
Cool. Toodaloo, motherfuckers. I don't say that. I do not say that.
Please, I really want Taylor to walk out just going, peace, fuckers.
Peace be with you, bitches. Yeah. So you walk back into town, I presume, and you find that it's dead. It's 6:30 in the morning. There's some people that are up and about, some of the farm hands, the working folk, but your group is not yet up and at 'em.
Oh well, I just have a nice look at my surroundings.
And you do, and they are beautiful.
I'll be sat with the horses, just getting something to eat. Whenever I get up, I'll go up.
Okay, well, that's pretty shortly thereafter. You're an early riser, so you meet Jordan, and one by one over the next couple hours, I'll just say, people join you and they come and they flock in. And Samri comes out with Enelron and shakes his hand and thanks him and says, "Thank you for another lovely visit. We'll see you next time, I'm sure." And Enelron says, "You're all welcome anytime here in Yavering. You're all welcome guests."
And to thank you, I know it's not required, but I will just take my pouch of 50 gold and I'll give it, and I'll just say for the town.
And he looks very touched, and he says, "Well, sir, I can't take your money."
Please, if anything, call it the price for my friend's hats. He looks ridiculous, but he just wouldn't shut up about it last night. I can tell how much it means to him.
And he takes the out, and he kind of gives you a nod and takes the excuse, and he says, "Well, thank you very much, friend. It'll go to a good cause. We'll make sure it goes to the right place. You all have a safe adventure. You come back now."
I'm sure we'll pass through on the way back.
And you all saddle up and you start riding out of town. And roll another D4.
D4. 1.
Well, I won't roll a D3. I'll roll a D4.
No.
I also go on.
And 2. So 4. So 1. So, I tell you what, I didn't give you the opportunity. Jordan, you get to ask Marco what you wanted to.
Oh, it was just Marco, Thalar, and Sarah I'd just like to gather while we travel.
Yeah, fine. You ride up next to them on the horses. You're plodding along through some fields.
I just wanted to
very good.
discuss tactics and things. Sarah and Marco, have you been to the catacombs before?
And Sarah says, "No, I haven't. Not to the catacombs of Ptolemy. No." And Marco shakes his head.
And to Marco, said, "But you've, after fighting vampires and such, I imagine you've got quite a bit of experience in fighting undead."
And Marco says, "Yes, I've been out many times. I'm pretty adept at fighting things that are supposed to be dead."
Well, necromancy and the undead is one of my specials, and I understand how my magic works a lot more than I would your gifts. And I was just hoping, because last time we came across the undead, it went quite poorly for us. We were not as experienced as we are now, and we certainly weren't as prepared as we should have been. I was just hoping you could give us, especially Taylor and I, just some advice on maybe spells we might need to prepare. I know there are things that I can do, like protection from evil, for protection against undead, and there are also one sec, I've just lost the entire list.
Well, Thalar can turn undead.
Yes, and so would Marco.
What level are you, Thalar?
4.
Okay. How long till you reach 5th?
Not far. Yeah, I'm at 5.
Okay. Okay.
800. And
Yeah.
things like protection from good and evil, magic circle, things like that.
Pretty sure I'm able to kill undead using my turn undead soon as well. But
Only
At 5th level, you can start destroying undead.
yeah.
if they are low enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Half a CR lower. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I just want to mention that there are spells like magic circle, protection from good and evil, and there's another one who's I've completely lost now.
Well,
That Zayla might have much more knowledge of, and I also there's a locate spell that I don't know of personally. I was wondering if you've ever come across the locate objects spell, Zayla?
not in my travels, no.
Is it something that you might have knowledge of?
It's well, I mean,
It's
as
a cleric
a
spell.
as a cleric, I know.
It might have been something. Yeah, it might have been something that you might have heard of in the.
Yes, I certainly have knowledge of it.
If you
I
Might
would
be
need
useful.
to. Yes, I mean, I would need to spend some time going over that, of course, but definitely something I can.
I was just thinking it might be useful for helping to find what we're looking for in the.
Yeah,
in the tomb.
that's fine. Did this conversation took place before our night?
Well, we've still got a couple of days.
No, you're only 3 days into a 10-day ride.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's
We've
fine.
got plenty of time. I was
That's
just
fine.
seeing if,
Yeah, that's fine then.
if
That'll-
Mark or Sarah, well, both of them should have protection from good and evil and such like that.
Yeah.
Well, I've already got protection from good and evil, but we can just for story's sake, we can assume at the next long rest I replaced spiritual weapon with locate object.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine. Marco knows. Well, clerics know all their spells. It's just a matter of what he prepares.
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
have
that's what I
not
mean,
yet prepared his spell set, but he'll have similar destroy undead kind of style spells, faith-based ones. And Sarah, as a paladin, has a few bits and bobs,
Fuck up undead.
but she's mostly
Smite,
Yeah.
smite,
smitey, less spelly. So yeah, that's what they would recommend is anything. The closest that you can get as a wizard to holy, which is usually more abjuration magic, I would think, and then just straight up raw power, because necromancy, your specialism is creating undead, not
Yeah,
destroying
yeah.
them. Yeah.
but it would give me some idea of spells that would work against it.
Yeah.
I mean, they are all spells I can learn. I just don't
Yeah, but not if you haven't already got them in your spell book.
yeah. But yeah.
And you,
I can't learn.
you're on your way. So
I would know of those spells
Hmm.
if
Oh, I
not
see.
hand cast them.
Do other classes have to actually learn their spells?
I do, yeah.
yeah, wizards have to pick from a list, but then they know those spells. Then they
Right.
know them.
Swap them out with other ones. If I write it into my spell book, I can prepare a list of spells.
Right.
Bards always have their list. They just have a list of spells that they pick, and that's it.
Yeah.
Druids are like a bit like clerics in that they have everything prepared.
They just know everything.
I think druids just have everything actually.
Yeah.
No, they still have to prepare, but they also know the entire list of spells and just
Yeah.
check it out each day.
Ah, okay. Cool.
I was just
The more you know.
just trying to let you know that there are spells out there that are really good for undead fighting.
Yeah, I'm trying.
I don't want another welfare
Oh god.
of all our allies going in and dying.
Yeah, I've lost my spell list. Okay, here.
I was gonna look at going to the pavilion and trying to find some of these spells, but I was very low on money, so I thought. Anyway, yeah, that's just what I was talking about, and I just want to learn a little bit more about Marco's fight with this vampire.
So is that Marco that you're trying to learn a fun fact from?
Yeah, I would like to know more about this vampire. When was it?
So he tells you a story about a time, maybe 10 years ago, he was on his second mission. Second mission for the temple, and he went with his very best friend time.
Shit, this is already gonna make me sad, isn't it?
And they went out, and he encountered this vampire, and it was a very powerful vampire. and he weaves the tale about how the vampire had taken over this town, and it was really bad scene. So they sent in these clerics and paladins of Mishakal, and one of them was a paladin. His best friend was a paladin. He was a cleric, so they were teamed up. And on the mission, he got his face slashed, and his friend got hurt really badly. Got his arm was real fucked up, and they had to take it off. And so they eventually managed to slay the vampire with some help. They got there in the end, but it had so traumatized his friend that he broke his oaths as a paladin, and he went out into the world. And Marco went back to the temple. And then about 8 or 10 years later, or about 5 years later, I should say. So about 5 years ago, you also learn that on his 4th mission, he was sent out. There was a guy that was fucking over some supply chain in near a trading port, and was causing a bad scene, and so he had to go and help intervene because this guy was apparently kind of supernatural, and it turns out that it was his best friend, the Oathbreaker, and he had to take him out, and so it kind of fucked him up a lot. But that's how he had this big scar from the vampire.
Well, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But it was still pretty bad.
Yeah.
And to Sarah, can I just say, and you refused the initiation to become a priestess, and you became a kick-ass paladin, did you?
And she said, "That's right, and if you wanted to know more, you should have rolled better."
I'm sure I'll get a chance to know you more, love.
I'm sure you will. So you we'll just set up the next bit and then probably call it for the night. But you learn that bit about Marco's past, and then you rock up to yet another small town, and you find yourself in it's I'd say it's a little bit bigger than the one you had before. That one was what, 100 and something people. This one's probably 500 people, so it's decently sized, and it's on the map. You can see it's on the map. It's the town of Rye, R-Y-E, like the bread.
Is that the one that's right on that getting towards that peninsula where the island is up?
Hang on, let me see if I can find the map. I'll tell you, because this is probably 7 days in now.
Yeah.
I'd say that's probably pretty accurate. Let me just quickly scroll. World map. Here we go. Yeah, it's that one between those two lakes.
Between the two lakes?
Yeah, you're sorry, you're going the other way. You see, where you went, you headed east and northeast.
Oh right, I thought we were going west. Sorry.
No, you went northeast. So you passed over around the mountains is where you went. Next to the mountains, that's where you found Yavering, and now you're sort of between these two lakes, and that's where you found the town of Rye, R-Y-E.
Right.
Yeah, Rye indeed. And so you walk into town, and it's a decently sized town, and it's kind of got all the amenities that you would expect from a small town. So it's got a blacksmith, and it's got a general store, and it's got a market, and it's got quite a few people bustling about, and it's got town hall, and it's got an inn as well, unlike the smaller town of Yavering. And you have entered into the town, and I assume, and this is going to be a bit of a stretch, I know, but I assume that Sonny's going to go straight for the inn.
Well, yeah, follow his hat.
Yes, and the hat, well, actually, I tell you what, the hat is not pointing towards the inn.
Oh.
The hat is pointing towards the blacksmith.
Pointing towards his own pocket, he's carrying booze.
Well, it points towards the next drink, so... Nearest drink. Yeah, that's a good point, doesn't it? Yeah, it points towards the nearest drink.
You'll have to stop carrying booze.
Yeah, how clever is it? Yeah,
it is. I mean, you see it's towards the blacksmith, but you also note that it's also the same direction as the hip flask you're wearing on your
So head. I suspect within 3 days, Sonny would have experimented with this hat. Yeah, so he wants to find new drinks and meet new people and experience new things. So if he realised that carrying a drink on him would interfere with that, as soon as he came to a town, he would probably leave the drink on his horse or stash it somewhere. So yeah. So he'll follow it to the blacksmith's.
And you see the blacksmith, He's a young gnomish man. And he's got an unusual pallor. He's looking a bit gray, which is not a normal color for a gnome. But you also notice that there's a great big barrel that he's got two, and he's making the rings for one, and one of them is finished. It's got a spigot in it, and it's sitting over on the side.
He's making what? Sorry, I didn't.
A barrel. A barrel.
He's making a barrel. Okay.
Yeah, well, he's making the rings for a barrel.
Yeah,
but there's
okay.
already one that's got a spigot in it, and it's over on the side of the shop.
Okay. Let me just check my languages. I think I might speak Gnomish. Oh, so, bear with me a second.
Was it gnome wine we learned to make?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna check that next.
Yeah, so you have a basic knowledge, I think.
Well, I just want to check my language. No, it's Dwarvish, common and Dwarvish. But I will mention to him. I'm trying to find my notes on what kind of particular wine it was.
It was just called halfling wine or something. Right? Gnome wine, gnomish wine.
Ooh, gnome and halfling. Different.
Yeah, I can't.
Did you call me a halfling?
Yeah, don't get that crossed.
Okay, Sonny says hello and tells him he's new in town and he is looking for a drink and was just passing by, noticed he was a gnome and his favourite drink is a gnomish wine that he experienced, and he explains about his boat trip travelling down the river and just asks his recommendation of where he could find a good drink in this town.
And the gnome sort of hitches his thumbs beneath his breeches, and he says, "What's a gnome voice? I imagine it'd be quite high pitched, wouldn't it? Because they're quite tiny."
Wow.
And he says,
Well, you're the DM. It can be whatever pitch you decide.
"Well," and he says,
I'm a gnome.
I am a gnome," and he, with an uncharacteristically deep voice. No, he says, "We have an inn."
That's it.
That's it.
That's all you're getting. He just kind of is.
Okay.
He's not the most forthcoming.
Okay. I will go visit the inn just after. If you could explain to me why I'm getting the sense, and I give him a little wink. There's some booze. There's some booze nearby. Wink, wink.
And he says,
wink, wink.
And he says,
Everybody
"There is
loves
some booze nearby. It's in the barrel."
And what's in the barrel?
It gnome wine.
My precious, give it to me.
Who's in the barrel? Well, what's in the barrel?
Gnome wine. Fantastic. That's all I wanted to know.
Happy to help.
Can I purchase some?
No.
Okay. Goodbye.
It's all.
Wow.
Goodbye. And he goes back to making his barrel.
So
Is that
as Sonny catches up with the rest of the gang.
okay? So you. Where's everybody else? What have you been doing while Sonny's off making friends?
Gnome friends.
We went to the inn.
Yes.
Well, first off, I just want to say, right, just so everybody knows, I got
Great.
a bit lost on which way we were going. I thought we were going west out into like the middle of nowhere. Didn't think we'd come across another town. May have given that last guy all
of your money.
So, I mean, Thaler and
Wow.
Valoran will lay us on a drink.
Okay. Thaler gets out his koi purse and buys everybody a round of drinks.
Why do I feel like Thalar is just the dad?
I know, yeah. I've been charged with these miscreants.
Yeah, well,
That's
there
because
you
you're
go.
like 250 years old. I'm 17.
That's true, actually.
That's very true.
Age.
So you go towards the inn and you notice that it is it's a fine place. It's not the nicest thing you've ever seen from the outside. It's very humble. It's it's a small town inn, but it looks clean. and the name of it is A Good Night's Rest, except the night is spelled with a K, and the symbol outside is a guy in armor holding a pillow.
Can I, just as we walk in, I just want to like nudge Sarah and point to the sign and say, "Yeah, get it, night, like you are."
And she looks at you and she says, "I'm a paladin."
They're very similar, love.
And she says,
And I'll clearly,
"No."
if it's not working, I'll just walk on.
She's not giving you full blown bitch, but she's just like, "Come on, dude." She's giving you the benefit of the doubt, but you're not making it easy.
And I'll walk up about something, just muttering something to myself about Trevor and women. So Lauren gets them all.
And you come in, and there is a middle-aged drow behind the long braids, and she sees Samray as she comes in and greets him in it'd be Elvish. Greets him in Elvish, and it's clear they know each other. And he sidles up to the bar with Perdita, and they start engaging in conversation. And the rest of the inn it's totally empty. You're clearly the first visitors they've had in a couple days.
Hello,
Hello.
Taylor. We've been traveling together.
Who is that for?
It's a while now. I believe you know me already.
Sorry, I thought I was talking to the bar lady.
Are you? Well, you have to say that, don't you?
Sorry, I addressed the bar lady. Hello.
And she turns and she says, "Hello."
It's nice to meet you. My name's Phalar. I feel like I'm introducing myself this way every time. How are you?
And she says, "Well, I'm very well indeed. We don't have many travelers this way anymore, so it's good to see you."
Well, I've never been this way myself. It's very nice. I have ales for everybody, please. I mean, our 8, so
You're the only 8 people in the bar, so she kind of gives you a look.
ales for everybody.
Right, just for you 8 then. And she starts pulling the pints. And,
and one for yourself.
7, because Sonny's harassing a blacksmith about his barrels at the moment.
No, I caught up. I'm here.
He heard that I was ordering.
Yeah, he just appears next to you. Make that 8.
And she kind of gets taken aback, and she looks at Taylor like, "Is that okay?"
Yes, it's fine. I know him. It's his thing.
And she sort of nods, and so she pulls 8 pints, and Marco kind of claps you on the back, and he looks very pleased. And Sarah lifts her mug to you in thanks, and Samri and Perdita do the same. And they all kind of go off, and the paladin and the cleric go to talk in one table because the whole thing's empty. And Samri and Perdita go to talk at one table, and the bartender lady goes over and she's with Samri, and you're sort of left to your own devices to do whatever you want. What do you do?
Oh, I knowing John, do you think it's a bit strange that everyone has separated off and chatting to themselves and not chatting to us?
No, not really. I mean, I'll be honest, we don't have a lot in common with the Shady 2 and the Priesty 2. I mean, we've spent a week together now. I imagine we're all pretty sick of each other.
Fair enough. I just thought you might be, you and your invisibility might be a bit want to snoop.
You're just jealous because you don't have invisibility.
Hey, I have got a hat that points me to the nearest drink. He's been happy all week.
No, not really. I was just planning on relaxing a bit, but I tell you what, you and your invisibility could snoop if you really wanted to. And I'll just put my hand towards my wand.
Oh yeah, okay. Sonny's downs his drink because he don't want to leave that behind, and then says, "Go ahead."
Yeah, I will. And then I will cast it. 1 hour. You remember how this works? I'll put my hand on him, just hold on to my wand without getting it out, and just invisible. No.
Oh, that was a very good wand noise.
Yeah.
Hey. Okay. What do you do, Sonny? What are you gonna go snoop about?
So who was talking to who? You said Sammy. Sorry. What are their
Samri
names?
and
Samri.
Perdita were talking to the innkeeper, I think.
Samri and Perdita are talking to the innkeeper, yeah, and
Sarah and Marco had
are
gone,
also
just
talking,
found
yeah.
it. Just
Okay.
found it.
I'll start with Samri and Perdita, just stealthily walk up there and listening to what they're having to say.
They are all talking in Elvish, and you don't get a word.
Okay, so I quickly move on to Sarah and Marco.
I
And
would like
yeah.
to know when exactly 10 minutes has passed.
Okay, I will let you know. You hear Sarah and Marco, and they are discussing some of the finer points of Mishakal's Gospels.
So Sonny returns to Giannon and whispers in his ear.
10 minutes has passed.
I can't understand Dwarvish, and they're talking rubbish.
Oh, right. Did he get back to me before?
Elvish.
Rubbish.
Sorry,
We got
Elvish.
back to you. We got back
Elvish.
to you before 10 minutes had passed.
Yeah.
Alright, okay. In that case, I will let the spell drop. It will just let me know the next time, and I will let the spell drop.
What would have happened if he'd waited more than 10 minutes?
Don't know.
I would have pinched him to stop the concentration. Oh, wait,
I see.
No, never mind. No, it would have finished.
Anyway, okay, so you, yeah, there's not a lot of interesting conversationing happening inside this inn that you're party to anyway.
Unless you speak Elvish.
Unless you speak, well, you don't know. It could be also mundane, catching up on whatever. But you don't speak Elvish, so you don't know.
I do. But
Well, maybe you should go turn invisible and go eavesdrop
nah.
on them then.
Phalar doesn't care. Phalar does not care. Phalar has had enough. What time is it in the day here?
It is mid-afternoon.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really know what I was going to do with that information.
Good to know, I suppose.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to know. I wasn't sure. I was hoping that while I was talking would have stalling time to think of what I was going to do next, and then I had blocked. So Phalar does not know what to do. He's just enjoying a meal.
So we're about 3 days out, aren't we?
You're 3 days out. That's right.
I'm just going to say to the fags. Well, I suggest that as they last paying, we spend this last time possibly together, getting hammered. Really?
Okay. Phalar's up for that.
Did
I think Sunny's probably up.
yeah. Did someone say get hammered?
Yes. We're going to get hammered.
Sonny suggests a few drinking games.
Oh god. Yeah.
Have you ever played Fun War?
Thumb War. Phalar is not familiar. I mean, Joshua is, but Phalar's not.
After a few drinks, I say, "Oh, I'll play some more." That's fine.
Thumb Master. He got it wrong. Thumb Master. Have you ever played Thumb Master?
No.
So, Sonny will begin as the Thumb Master, and when Sonny puts his thumb on the table, everyone else has to put their thumb on the table, and the last person to put their thumb on the table must down their drink, and then they become the Thumb Master.
Great. I like this game already.
Now I want to play it.
And then we
I
begin.
will cast Mage Hand, and I will just keep them on the table.
Phalar swats the mage hand away.
and I will have a drink.
Yeah, Phalar's just drinking generally as this goes on. as we think about drinking games, I'm just actually just drinking.
Drink.
Have we spent an hour or two drinking? Yeah.
3.
Yeah, you
Are we
probably
making
spent.
merry? Okay.
Yeah, you've made merry. You now have
I will-
disadvantage on all of your ability checks.
I will lead the Sonny and say, "Do you want to see something funny?"
Always.
Right. Okay. Watch this. Can I get a round of shots, please?
And the barkeep sort of scoops herself up off the table she's sitting at, and she walks over, and she comes over with a bottle of something red.
For all of us, all 8 of us, if Sarah and Marco are with us still.
They are, and they lift their mugs to you again. And so she pulls out this dark brown liquid, and she pours 8 shots and passes them all around.
Okay.
And they're looking at you like, are you going to make a toast or are you doing shots?
I am.
What's going on?
I mean, we might not get a chance to do this again, but you know, you're all right people. I don't like people very much, but you guys seem quite all right. I don't know. I better drink. Whew. Anyway, to us, I guess, and to the undead. And I'll put my arm around Taylor, and I'll just say, and to the many ways we're going to kick their ass, and I will drink my drink.
And Samri and Perdita raise their shot and they take it, and Sarah and Marco bow their heads for a minute and say a little prayer and then do their shot.
As
Taylor was involved in that.
As Taylor drinks his shot, I will cast Feign Death on him.
Wait, what's that gonna do to me? Hold on, I don't know this. Yeah, you can probably take faster. I'm not willing. I cast Sacred Flame. I'm fed up with your shit.
Shit. Okay. If the spell didn't work and the
You
spell
take
slot is
1d8
wasted.
damage, motherfucker.
The spell slot is wasted.
Yeah, what? Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I would have gone along.
Oh.
Oh no, I've lost someone.
It seems Feign Death worked.
Oh, is it me?
Oh no, you're back.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I was saying, although I do like it, Taylor would not let that happen.
No, I understand that. I just thought it'd be funny in my inebriated.
I'm still tempted to cast Sacred Flame at you.
No, Josh, you did cast Sacred Flame.
Oh,
You
sorry.
said it. You cast it.
Yep, okay.
I'm a
Save.
dexterity
Your
save.
dex save. Yep.
One second. I don't think it'll work.
Let's give it a try.
Oh, right, yeah. I will use my reaction and cast counterspell.
Oh, damn.
If it is 3rd level or lower, it succeeds automatically.
Sonny sobers up momentarily and covers the top of his drink.
So wait, I got counterspelled.
And I'll hold up my hands in there. I'm sorry. I thought it would be funny. Sonny thought it would be funny.
I
Wait.
slap him.
Yeah, there you go. Right,
There.
roll 1d3 damage for your slap.
1d3. I've got a lot of strength, you know. How do I do this? 1d3.
Oof!
3! Crit!
Does he not need to roll to hit first?
Yeah. He slapped you. He slapped you right in the face.
Yeah, I mean, how was I gonna miss? Oh. Like that. I'm fairly drunk.
Alright.
There.
If he misses the first one, fair enough. You
Just
yeah,
consider
you-
yourself slapped.
You rolled that, and I will put my hand on him, and I will cast Enlarge.
Oh god.
He
Okay.
goes to
He doubles in size.
so how big would that make you there, Thalar? How tall are you? 4 feet?
4 feet 4'5".
So
Wow.
you are now 9 feet tall, and
I'll
you
go.
you're squeezed around this tiny table.
Come on, Fred. Come on, hit me. And this time I will let him hit me.
I wonder if every game that has a drunken monk character descends into moments like this.
This, yeah. Yeah, I've.
So,
No, I'm gonna be the bigger man now. Also, I'm a bit drunk, and so Thalar or Thalar's
oh
friend, I'm sorry.
no. You're right.
Okay,
You're right. Hit me. Come
Thalar
on.
hits Jordan.
Okay, roll an unarmed attack with advantage and add a d4 for your size.
Okay, advantage. 15 plus 4,
19.
14 plus 4.
They both hit.
Well, you only get
Well,
one.
one,
so
yeah.
advantage. So the 19 hits. So roll
2d4.
Unarmed. 2d4.
Yeah.
2. There you
Is
go.
your unarmed? Is your unarmed attack only 1d4?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I just did what.
Okay, yeah, so 4 damage.
I mean, I assume that's what the 1d3. Oh right, the d3, not a d4. Anyway, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like an improvised weapon is 1d.
I mean, I'm not really trying to kill him or anything.
No, I know. I just, you're double the size, but I guess that means you're double the damage. So there you go. So you take 4 damage.
You get to it's a 1d4 for his thing, and then 1d4 being twice the size.
Hmm.
So 2d4. Anyway, I'll
Your
take
brain
it
really-
and I'll
Yes.
follow my ass. Rub my chin a little bit. And go, oh, shit. Oh. Right.
Sarah's stood up and she's got her hand on her sword. Marco's.
But we're all right, love. We're all right.
It's fine. It's fine. Jordan, make me small again.
They say in Celestial. And I'll just start screaming.
And you do. You scream loud and long and clear.
Oh, I need to roll a concentration check.
Were
A
you
what check?
A concentration check.
Do you?
Yeah,
What are you concentrating?
I took damage.
Oh.
What spell
Oh, I
you
mean
use?
large, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
So that would be 13, which passes anyway, because it was 10.
Okay.
Okay.
For lessons. But I'll let the spell drop afterwards. Like, once I've stood up,
Okay.
I'll let it. I'll put it back.
Thalar is too drunk and passes out.
Okay. Yeah. Sunny does not pass out, but Taylor passes
No,
out.
no.
I am pretty close to passing out. I will pass out right next to Taylor.
And I think that's where we're gonna leave it for tonight. Everybody just passed out, drunk off their ass.
Nah.
Make a note.
How else could it end?
Okay.
Cool.
That
Good
was-
work, team.
That was genius. The hat, Alex. I don't know if you just
I
pulled
like that
pulled
hat.
that out of your backside or what,
in
but that was
Is that in what? Sorry, Judd?
Is that in Xanathar? So have you just come up?
No. That's just made up.
that's
Just
fun.
Alex original.
Just you being really
That's
clever.
fun. Yeah, it's fun.
Oh, I can't claim credit for it, but someone was really clever, and I stole their idea.
Ah.
That is the sign of a good DM.
Yes.
That's how you do it. Well, good work, team. I'm gonna go work on more of this, and we'll reconvene. Now, I have every intention of trying to make this work next week. However, I will caveat it with the fact that I'm going to stay with my partner's mom. We're going for a long weekend. She lives in Switzerland, so
Wow.
it's only an hour ahead, so the time change won't be much. But depending on she's a bit mad. And so it's entirely possible that evening she'll have some sort of bizarre zip lining over an Alpine ravine booked, or maybe some sort of funicular railway rodeo. You never know. So I'll let you guys know a bit closer to the time, but I'm
awesome.
glad you've got Weave to work on. If
Yeah, I was
if
going to say,
can't make it.
if you don't make it, I'm to weave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm happy to do that if need be.
Cool.
Very good.
Cool.
Brilliant, thank you. very
Okay.
much.
Thank you, Alex.
Keep
All
us
right. Talk
updated.
to you soon.
Bye bye, everyone.
If
Bye.
Thalar won a combat experience against me,